But go ahead, Ms. Tattersall. The floor is yours for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I would like to start by acknowledging that I'm speaking from the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. My name is Samantha Tattersall. I am the Assistant Controller General for the Acquired Services and Assets sector in the Office of Controller General at the Treasury Board Secretariat. First, I'd like to take a moment to outline the role that Treasury Board Secretariat plays in supporting the management of investments, specifically real property. Le Conseil de Trésor établit le cadre.
The Treasury Board sets the administrative policy framework for the management of investments, including real property, through the Directive on the Management of Real Property. Custodian departments, of which there are 28 across the federal government, including Global Affairs Canada, are responsible for the management of their real property. Deputy heads of these organizations are accountable for ensuring that real property is managed in a manner that enables operational outcomes while demonstrating sound stewardship. Consistent with Treasury Board policy, custodian organizations must have a senior designated official responsible for the management of real property who is accountable for establishing, implementing, and maintaining a department-wide real property management framework. This framework should include effective governance and oversight mechanisms to effectively enable the management of real property that supports the delivery of their respective departmental mandates.
Transaction, whether that is to lease, to acquire, or dispose of real property, Treasury Board approval is required when the value exceeds a department's transaction limits. All custodian departments have general limits, and 8 have special limits that are reflective of their operational requirements. And this information is available online on canada.ca. In the case of Global Affairs Canada, the department can acquire official residence property outside of Canada for an amount of up to 10 million Canadian. So this means that the property in question was acquired within Global Affairs Canada's authority. The Treasury Board did not review the transaction in question. Regardless of whether the transaction is within or above a department's limits, they need to transact in a manner that is consistent with the Directive on the Management of Real Property. So this includes validating the need for an acquisition based on their department's programs, is supported by the appropriate due diligence, including a full life cycle analysis, is done in a fair and open manner that's aligned with commercial real estate practices, and that an appraisal from the Chief Appraiser of Canada is obtained in advance of the purchase. With that, Mr. Chair, I'm pleased to answer any questions from the committee members about the Treasury Board Directive on the Management of Real Property.
Thank you very much. Mr. Quinlan, go ahead, please.
Alors, merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senior Assistant Deputy Minister for Real Property Services at Public Services and Procurement Canada, and I'm pleased to discuss our limited role in the transaction process for the Canadian Consul General's residence in New York City. In order to comply with the Treasury Board Directive on the Management of Real Property, real estate practitioners from custodian departments are required, as part of their due diligence process, to justify the amount paid for acquisitions and disposals in relation to market value. Plus précisément, conformément aux procédures.
Specifically, according to the procedure set out in Appendix B to the Directive, practitioners must obtain at least one appraisal from the Chief Appraiser of Canada before acquiring or disposing of real property, except when there will be an open solicitation of offers and the total value of the real property interest is anticipated to be less than $500,000. In this situation, obtain at least one current estimate of the market value. Emily Bouchard, who's with me today, is currently the Interim Chief Appraiser of Canada following the departure of the previous Chief Appraiser. She has been the Assistant Chief Appraiser since 2017. I am also accompanied by my colleague, Linda Jenklin. The role of the Chief Appraiser of Canada in any transaction is limited to providing an independent and impartial appraisal supported by market evidence to assist in making informed real estate decisions. As such, the CAC monitors the quality of third-party appraisal reports, ensuring adherence with standards and best practices. Still, according to the same Treasury Board directive, they have to segregate transaction and valuation responsibilities related to real property transactions. The separation of valuation and transaction responsibilities means that the individuals or entities that provide an opinion on the market value of a property are different from those that handle the sale or purchase of the property. The separation ensures that the valuation is impartial and reliable, while transactions are conducted with dedicated negotiators. This ensures integrity and transparency in the transactional process while minimizing the risk of conflict of interest.
In question today, where the value was above the $500,000 threshold, it was a mandatory requirement for Global Affairs Canada to commission an appraisal report from the Chief Appraiser of Canada via PSPC Appraisal and Valuation Services. PSPC's role in the purchase of the Consul General's residence, therefore, was limited to providing appraisal services. PSPC provided these appraisal services through a third party, John C. Monaco, National Valuation Consultants, and was not involved in the cost-benefit discussions regarding the replacement of the previous residence. The Chief Appraiser of Canada's role is not to confirm the merit of a transaction, nor is it to reinforce the fact that a custodian department has made a good decision by achieving a given real estate transaction. The role is simply to provide an independent appraisal on the value of a property. The segregation between the appraisal responsibilities and the transaction responsibilities, which rests with, in this case, Global Affairs Canada, is highly important and allows for an impartial step in the overall transaction process. Merci. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. We will go ahead with you. You have the floor for 5 minutes, Mr. Cousineau. Go ahead, please, sir.
Bon matin, Monsieur le Président.
Hello, Mr. Chairman. First, I would like to thank the committee for giving me the opportunity to speak to you about the new official residence of Canada in New York, which the government recently purchased. I am pleased to explain the reasons for this purchase, the significant financial savings we have made, and the operational benefits offered by this new residence. The Consulate General in New York is one of Global Affairs Canada's most important missions. Not only does it provide essential services to approximately 300,000 Canadians residing in the area and to thousands of Canadians visiting each year, but it also plays a key role in protecting and promoting Canada's interests in trade and investment. In particular, the consulate supports our operations in a city that is not only the financial capital of our most important trading partner, but also of the entire world. It covers a vast territory of 5 states that together represent more than $200 billion in bilateral trade each year.
Residence in New York City is more than just a place of residence. It is an essential venue for hosting key interlocutors in smaller, more personal settings. Federal, provincial, and territorial representatives frequently use the space to engage with partners and advance Canada's interests. While this residence and other like it are used as living quarters by our heads of mission, their primary function is as a government worksite, where important diplomatic events and business meetings are conducted. Over the past 2 years alone, more than 50 official functions have been hosted at the residence, including business and networking events, as well as roundtable discussion, each providing a unique opportunity to engage with local leaders on issues that matters to Canadians. Affaires Mondiales Canada est le gardien.
Global Affairs Canada is the custodian of the Government of Canada's diplomatic and consular properties abroad. As such, we are responsible for the acquisition, maintenance, and disposal of Canada's office spaces, official residences, and staff housing abroad.
Comply with Treasury Board policies and Global Affairs internal guidelines to ensure transparency and value for money. The replacement of the official residence in New York was carefully planned and executed. It represents up to $7.4 million in net present value saving for Canadians. An aging asset is being replaced with a well-located, smaller, and more cost-effective property, positioning Canada to meet both current and future needs. The previous residence at 12E 550 Park Avenue was acquired in 1961 and was extensively used. The building is now over 100 years old. Concerns about the condition of the current residence were first raised actually in 2014. In 2017, a building condition report indicated that many systems were nearing the end of their life expectancy, estimating a midlife refit in the early 2020s at today's cost of up to $2.6 million. À la suite d'une analyse détaillée des options et d'un
Following a detailed analysis of options and a governance review, Global Affairs Canada, with the help of a local real estate specialist, evaluated 21 properties in 7 neighborhoods in New York, which is one of the most expensive real estate markets in the world. After careful consideration, Global Affairs Canada opted for the property located at 111 West 57th Street.
recently renovated property is situated in the heritage portion of a building in Midtown, contrary to previous reports suggesting that it was in a skyscraper. It is conveniently located near our office and other international organizations. The apartment is smaller than the previous property, more efficient and cost-effective, and it was purchased at a price recently reduced. Finally, the current official residence is now listed on the market. It was listed at $3.9 million higher than what was paid for the new residence. So we're very proud of this replacement transaction that not only promises substantial one-time saving for Canadian, but also avoid the $2.6 million in renovation costs and deliver $115,000 in ongoing annual saving on operational fees, cutting expenses in half, all in a real estate market that has consistently shown an annual return on investment increase. I look forward to addressing your question and providing further details on the rationale behind this purchase, the expected benefits for Canadians, and the financial consideration involved. Our goal is to ensure transparency and accountability in this matter, and we're here today to provide any information that you may require. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. We'll